All right.
Thousands of people on the daily are being sexually harassed, especially women, but everyone needs to know the importance of why it does not need to be a part of our everyday lives. Many women are being sexually harassed on a daily basis in the work environment. Approximately 42% of women have been the victim of sexual harassment in the United States. Sexual harassment is no joke, and many people tell women that you're making that up for attention, or that's not true, and he doesn't seem like the type to do that. I have done plenty of research over this topic, and I've come to the conclusion that this issue is much deeper than what people take into consideration. I am here to discuss the importance of why it happens, where it commonly happens, and taking control of this matter. Many people know about this issue, but no one really knows why. The desire to protect occupational territory. According to Sean Bird, sexual harassment is used to intimidate, disempower, and disencourage women in traditionally male-dominated occupations. Approval of sexual objectification. Byrne also states that many men are surrounded by a culture that reduces women to be sexualized objects, which normalizes female colleagues in less than a professional manner. Perceived invincibility. David Lee has stated that there are intense issues of entitlement and power and control that have gone unchecked that lead to situations where men feel it's perfectly fine to engage in these kind of behaviors. Now that we know a little bit about why it happens, let's look at where it happens. First is public spaces. As Margaret Crouch said, harassment happens in public spaces because there is a default mode people tend to go to. This mode is civic inattention. By this she means people tend not to stare at one another or talk to strangers in public. Therefore, when sexual harassment occurs, most pedestrians won't notice it or even do anything about it. Secondly, school. Sexual harassment happens a lot more at school than most people are aware of. Many parents send their child to school thinking it's safe, but in reality, there are thousands of kids being sexually harassed by their very own teachers. This issue goes unbothered, mostly because students are scared or embarrassed to do anything about it. Many students are afraid they're going to get made fun of by their peers or get hurt by the teacher that assaulted them. Lastly, the workplace. It also happens at the workplace because in reality, it's still a man's world. What I mean by this is when a woman is in a work environment, men will try to show dominance and try to put women in their place. Because many men like to exert power over women. Yes, sexual harassment does happen to men, but statistics shows it's more likely and more commonly going to happen to a woman rather than a man. Many women have been sexually harassed but never owned up to it or even noticed it. What we as a whole can do to take part in stopping it. Pay attention to your boundaries and take notice when unwanted people start getting a little too close and comfortable. Pay attention to your surroundings. Many people get caught walking around with their face buried into their phone. If we all put in the effort in stopping it, the harassment rates could drop very, very low. In conclusion, sexual harassment is an issue all over the world. Many people know about this issue and don't take any part in stopping it. Many victims won't own up to being harassed and they will leave it unbothered. The first step to stopping this issue is for victims to own up to it and speak out. The rates would drop dramatically if people would just speak out and stand up for themselves. As Billy Penn once said, harassment is not about attraction or desirability. It's about exerting control over people whenever you can.
Okay.